the team that's blowing your phone up because people are talking about them? What's the scuttlebutt? What's the team that everybody wants to know about from you?
I would say that team right now, Rich, is the Bengals. They were not a good offense when Joe Burrow was out there for the first game and a half. They've been terrible on offense in the two full games that they have played without Joe Burrow. And that is despite the fact that you've won before with Jake Browning. You know that he can play as much as any backup quarterback. If you get beyond 2 to 4 games, they're going to be challenged to sustain it. But you've seen that Jake Browning can play competent football in the NFL. You've got a ton of money in your wide receivers with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You've got tight ends. They've been one of the best teams in utilizing the tight ends for recent years. I don't think that this is a terrible Bengals offensive line that he's playing behind. And so you just ask yourself, what do they need to adjust? What teams in the league begin to wonder is, number one, could they trade for a quarterback? And obviously, that's a question, Rich, that I ask on a weekly basis right now. There are some obvious candidates if they were to do it. I've heard nothing to lead me to believe that anything is moving down the road with Kirk Cousins, which makes sense because, there's multiple reasons the Bengals went with essentially a minimum salary a guy who's an exclusive rights free agent as their backup quarterback, which is they feel like they're spending money at other positions. If they feel like they can win with Jake Browning, why would they put money into the position? Taking on a large chunk of Kirk Cousins' salary and, $10 million guaranteed in 2026 when you fully anticipate Burrow's going to be back, that might be asking a lot. Kirk Cousins has essentially played in this offense, going back to Kevin O'Connell and Zach Taylor. They came from the same tree as Sean McVay, who was his coach in Washington. It's all variation of the same system. So Kirk could probably get up to speed relatively quickly here. But taking on that money, giving up premier draft capital, this is a Bengals team, Rich, that since 1973 has acquired a grand total of 2 players in in-season trades in 52 years. It was a guy named B.J. Finney, an offensive lineman back in 2020, who was only part of a trade away of a player of Carlos Dunlap. And then last year they traded for Khalil Herbert because they were really shorthanded at the running back position after Zach Moss's injury. It would be outside of their MO. It's also outside of their MO to trade away players. But part 2 of this, Rich, would be if they continue to struggle, and if they're not going to go out there and trade for a quarterback, whether that's Kirk, whether that's Russell Wilson, whether that's Jameis Winston, and of those 3, I think Kirk is clearly the best fit. But if they don't do that and they continue to lose in a stretch where they've got the Lions on Sunday, they're at Green Bay the following week, and then they have Pittsburgh the week after that. 2-0 could quickly turn into 2-5 if they can't figure it out offensively. Are they getting close to a time where they'd be looking to be sellers at the trade deadline? Again, that is not the Bengals' MO. They don't make very many trades. We've seen them evolve a little bit in recent years, whether it's their contract structure, selling naming rights to the stadium, their aggressiveness, in various areas of roster building here. But there will be some players on their team, not Jamar Chase, not T. Higgins, but Trey Hendrickson on a 1-year deal. They would start getting calls about some of those players if they get into a mode where this season is going downhill. Again, we're not there yet. I still think it's more likely that they are trying to figure out, okay, we need to go get someone to compete. We're spending a ton of money on this roster. But if it goes the other way and you don't acquire a quarterback and the losses continue to mount, the Bengals could be in a position, Rich, where they are getting calls more than they're making calls, which is what people are speculating about right now.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.